Okay, I am going to cover Alaska separately here, even though it's really general, part of America, but I want to specifically touch on Alaska. They're going to have far more activity on the volcanoes and the earthquakes here. So I am seeing a 7.8, 7.9 coming in, but it's about 12, 25 miles down, not 10. So it is going to affect people, obviously, and there's going to be damage. Let's go into a bit more. And it's going to go, not exactly till Ketna, but more or less here. So it is going down the coast and having, there's going to be a lot of aftershocks. That's what I'm worried about. You're going to get, as usual, I'm afraid, the activity far more here, and there's quite a few coming in here as well. And there's 6s and 5s in here, but they start round about end of February. So you're going to see that, I'm afraid. I'm sorry. Fires, I do see quite a few fires, I'm afraid, in Alaska, and that is round about, there's a big one here, and lightning strikes I've talked about in several of the videos, that if you see the main general, there's a subsection for lightning, so that's to do with you too. Lightning seems to be far more intense, and it has changed, and there I'm seeing fires here, and there are several fires. There are about 17 fires, but it's mostly there, about 3 are really in the main cities, okay? And there's one about here. All right? And that's it. Best of luck and keep safe, please. Take care. Blessings. Just quickly, I forgot to cover America and terrorist activity and mass shootings. So, not that it's a great subject here, but anyway, just to let you know that round about March, April, the Taliban, it's really Al-Qaeda that's going to get more active. And I'm seeing terrorist acts as much as 22 around the country. There's California, there's at least 5, if not about 12. But that's going to increase mid-year. Texas, there's going to be about 5, and that's mass shootings. Churches, there are certain churches that are going to be touched. Philadelphia, one in Virginia. I hope I'm wrong with all of this. And also New York. New York is quite a kind of a hotbed there, but it's in the summer. 2 in Las Vegas, and that's more hate crimes. But they're becoming more active, and that's what I wanted to warn you. There are mass shootings. There's much as a possibility of one, that's 35 people killed. Hope to God I'm wrong. There are some in Oregon, 2 or 3. And there are people who are just, one in Colorado, they really haven't got an outlet to voice their opinion. And these are people with egos, but unstable, and obviously, because if they've got guns or even stabbings and bombings, it's not only guns, I'm afraid. It's really to do with their mental state and children. That's the only blessing of them not being in school in certain states, but that's going to close, by the way, because of COVID. A lot of schools are going to close for a while, quite a few months, until about March, at least end of February. End of January, into February, because of the dangers we're facing now. But basically, there's going to be isolated incidences where Al-Qaeda is coming in again and being far more active. It seems they've got one very strong leader, but he's hidden quite well, and that's why I don't think the FBI can get him at the moment. But then the Taliban has 3 that are kind of infighting. They've got 3 different types of agendas. One is not so aggressive, one's more mediocre, and then there's the extreme one, which is very, very dangerous, and then a lot of them are listening to him that I see. So that's what I'm worried about, and they're doing terrorist acts in more London, France, Belgium, or at least Germany, Belgium. I think it's more in Brussels, but and certain other countries like Australia. So I am sorry to say that they are gearing up again. All right. Anyway, take care and keep safe, please. Blessings.
Hi. This video actually, I did put out a video on COVID. I gave you certain dates and times where it's going to expand. I put it out on November 16th, a few days ago, and I have to say, and in the main intro to the predictions, I did mention that the energy about 36 hours ago, 35 now, actually changed those numbers quite a bit. So what I am seeing is that the current pandemic that is kind of hitting America horribly, and quite a bit of the world still, has gone into a second peak. But there were other peaks that I did touch on earlier this year on the previous video I did in March. But this one, I'm seeing that the cases, it is going to continue, but because people are now getting the message, and in the next week or so, they are actually getting far more, not only concerned, but aware, what are they doing, and not to be so, how can I say this, in the line of fire with COVID. So I would say that I would strongly suggest that you do please wear a mask at least, okay? If you can't isolate or at least stay at home, I realize that's very hard because you have to work and you're trying to scrape by. This is something that it's going to continue. So I had originally said that this current height of it will continue until about November, around about the end of November into first week of December. But quite frankly, it is going to be very aggressive and go until about the December 18th, where it'll carry the numbers, even though they're peaking. But in about 3-4 days of today's filming, it will start declining. Okay, so it'll fractionally, like 1 or 2% for the week after, say about, I'm just scanning, that's why I'm not looking at you, but I would say round about December 1st, you'll see about 1 to 2 that it's now declining, even as much as on the 27th to the 29th, you'll see a decline. But because of Thanksgiving, it'll give it a kind of a jump again, and it'll go up another 5% from that, the figures, and then go down again. So, but it'll again slowly decline, and by about December 18th, you'll see that it is declining in nearly all the states in America. And again, I'm sorry, I'm just talking about America at the moment. I will do separate videos for Europe, Asia, etc. But then you'll see, unfortunately, round about the 23rd of December, it'll start increasing. After Christmas and what we call Boxing Day in England, the day after, and Canada knows what I'm talking about too. After Boxing Day, you'll start to see by about the 30th of December, I'm afraid, another peak. Now this peak is going to be really flooding. It's as if the world's gone mad, at least in America it has, and around the world, I'm afraid, to be honest, where it is the emergency units, the hospitals, the emergency wards, all of them are just being inundated. And it's as if they really fear that this is a different strain or something, because there are so many cases. And I hope to God I am wrong with all my predictions. And I've said this in practically every video. And if I haven't, I mean it. I hope I'm wrong. And I don't care, because I don't want to see this devastation that I'm seeing. But round about the 30th of December, I see the start of another massive peak, where it's superseding even the peaks that we're going through now in November. So, and this continues for a good 2.5 to 3 weeks. Now, I don't know what changed, but again, as I explained on the intro, the predictions, I read through energy. Energy is not static. We're all energy. Every single thing is energy. This pillow is energy. The walking sticks are energy. The stone is energy. Everything is energy. So we ourselves co-produce energy, and with harsh words or loving words or whatever it is, everything emits energy. Something has literally turned its ugly head, and the energy has gone and intensified, and that is why I'm doing this further video, which I am so sorry that I have to share it with you. But basically, I'm seeing this next wave, which is actually worse, coming in from practically all the world, and it's to do with really Christmas. That not that the people are getting together, especially more so, but they're as if they're clinging and they need each other, which I can quite understand. We're social beings, but please try and do it on the computer. If you haven't got a computer, you know, even if you have to wave across to a field and see, or a park, but see them but not be around. I don't want people to be exposed, and especially the young ones. And I warned you about February being very, very dangerous for the children, because it's mutating, the COVID, and it's like a side mutation. It's not just one thing and it mutates. It's a side effect, and it literally mutates. A portion of it mutates for children, and that's on the other video. Then what else? I would say, you want to know how long it rides. It rides until about, I hate to say it, mostly through January 27th to the 29th. So there's a lot of isolation you'll have to do. You'll please be cautious. If you are having to go out, see doctors or essentials, please make sure that even gloves, but washing hands, but gloves, and definitely the masks, okay? And face shields if you can. But basically what we do is literally all the clothes that we wear outside, if we have to go to the shops or whatever, or doctor's appointments especially, immediately wash. And that way it'll help protect the rest of the family, if not yourself, hopefully. Okay? Now, that could be too extreme for some people, but quite frankly, it's kept us safe. Okay, so this one is going to go through. Then February, I did warn everybody about the mutation where it's the children being infected. But it's really the mutation, and these are children, as I said, I call children 28 down to babies. So with slight underlying problems, asthma or whatever, bronchitis, but not necessarily just that. So it's really, really frustrating, where it's, again, overwhelming hospitals because they can't define it. And that's a huge thing. Then I've given the rest of the dates where it is going down slightly. It's more or less 50% of what we have what we're going through now with the numbers are going to be in March. It won't be around about March 14th. So after March 14th, it starts gradually, very gradually going down, but it is definitely present until where we're seeing hardly any cases roundabout, and don't scream at me, November next year. So we are seeing this where we're having to, not that we've only lived with it all these months, nearly a year now, but it's going to be here for another year before we can literally get a hold of it. Now, the vaccines will be coming out, but the one that I see that is really affecting, I keep on seeing this, is in end of March, April. And that one is safer. Again, do what you need to, especially the healthcare workers and the older people. Take the vaccines, obviously, but that's your decision. That's your right, your decision. But there is one coming out that's still being developed and tested, and that won't come out until March, end of March, April. And beware of any side effects, not only that one, any vaccines, but you have to realize that this is not exactly here to stay, but it's not going to go away. The actual vaccine to get rid of it completely won't be produced for another two years, maybe about 18 months from now. It's mutating so fast, and it doesn't necessarily mutate to be nothing, but there is strength in it. Anyway, rambling on, I apologize, and hopefully this helps with any decisions you're making. Just be careful, please. All right? Anyway, blessings, peace, and love to you, and light. Take care. Bye. Thanks for joining me.